It's All Things Considered, and I'm Dave Lawrence. Today we're continuing our Off the Road series, remotely connecting with artists around the world during the pandemic. Hear everyone we've spoken with so far at hawaiipublicradio.org. Just look for the Off the Road banner on the front page. And today, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame member and sometime Maui resident Dave Mason, an original member of classic rockers Traffic, returns to the show with a new release, a reimagining or re-recording of his 1970 debut, now appropriately called Alone Together Again. The album featured his hit Only You Know and I Know, and it's a pleasure to welcome him back now. Dave, welcome, and thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
And do you have your guitar with you too?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. First, where are you now, and is this where you've been since the pandemic started?
We just got set up here in Maui. I moved over here just a month ago. It's maybe 6 weeks. I'm in Wailea.
Tell the story of where you were when you first started to hear about the pandemic.
Where I was on the road doing shows. It was on the East Coast somewhere. And then everything just got shut down. So got on the bus and drove back from New York State. Mm-hmm. My wife and I drove back home to Reno, which is where our home was. We basically reassessed our assets and let the house go in Reno for now and decided to just come and be here.
So you drove cross-country together as the tour, was canceled?
Everything was just shut down. It was, that was it. It seemed like something was going on, but nobody, of course, knew to the degree of what it was. And then it just started. Promoters were just, that was it. We're all down. I mean, there's some bands out there playing. My driver has been taking some country bands. He did a tour with somebody in a 38 special. For a month, they were out. About 2 months ago, I think they were doing sort of scaled down rodeo rinks and stuff.
Right, outdoor things.
Mm-hmm. Some people are out there doing those drive-in.
Right.
But basically, bottom line is it's really not economically feasible.
Right.
But at 74, I'm not going to I'm going out if there's a tour that's feasible and everybody can get taken care of.
You still have dates listed for the spring. Are those just tentative? What do you think is going to be the case?
Anything could happen. Nobody really knows.
I'm always curious when I see that. And so turn into this new reimagining of Alone Together Again. When did you do the recording of this one?
Well, redoing it was basically I was doing it for my own personal amusement. Sad and Deep as You, which is on there, redone, came out actually way better than the original. That was cut. A little live show at Sirius down in Washington. So that was done then. And then World in Changes, which is radically different from the original. And I wanted to find something that would be same song, same melody, but just totally different. The rest of the album, it's my band. And we cut it while we were out on tour about 3 years ago, one afternoon. The tracks were just cut live in an afternoon in the studio. A lot of them are pretty close and true to the original arrangements. Mm-hmm. There's also a CD available that's the same fold-out cover and the multicolored CD. And then there's also, hopefully by Christmas, there'll be a limited edition vinyl version of it. That stuff is available from the website, davemasonmusic.com. So there's some signed CDs if people want to put one in the Christmas stocking. But the one thing it has my band, so it has a little more spark to it.
And some of those musicians include some with Hawaii connections, like Gretchen Rhodes.
Sure. Well, Gretchen was out on the road with me a year ago, and then she was out with me and Steve Cropper were out doing a rock and soul review. Gretchen was part of that.
Well, that's cool. This new version of the album includes that Maui Connection with singer Gretchen Rhodes. And when did you first start spending a lot of time on Maui anyway?
My wife and I, we bought a place here like 4 years ago. But the one thing that's not going to be the same for me again for a long time is losing Willie K. Willie was just great. And not having him around anymore, because he just was the spark at everything. The get-togethers, the gatherings, all that stuff, man. He's, for me, it's like I met Willie a long time ago, and he'd been wanting to get together and play. So I really only got close to him in the last 4 years that we got the house. So for me, it's just there's a big chunk of Maui missing regarding Willie.
A lot of people have been saying that. Let's turn to Willie for a moment then. You said you met him a long, long time ago and he had been wanting to play with you. You remember when you first met him?
No, it's way back. There used to be a great venue here, the tennis club.
Mm-hmm.
I played there 2 or 3 times. And then there was a great club that I don't remember what it was called that Willie played at a lot that was in Kihei, I believe, way back. So we never really got together, but I remember going to the club and seeing him play a few times and just like, wow, this guy's pretty amazing.
Right.
So for me, it was only really getting to know him personally in the last 4 years.
What are some memories of the last 4 years with him?
Mostly started with the events that Shep Gordon, of course, who throws those
New Year's.
annual New Year's for the Maui Food Bank. That, of course, without Willie in the future getting those little events started and
Right.
things will be different. Just hanging with him, playing his blues festivals. And then I had a little event that I did as a charity for actually last year. She's an opera singer, international opera singer, has a school in Reno. And so we put a little event together where we put the opera in a little of my music and tried to combine it and brought Willie over for the event, because I mean, that's the amazing thing about Willie is that he played so many damn styles of music and he played them all just fantastically. And then when he launched out on his opera thing, it was like, oh my God. So we had this little event up in Lake Tahoe that was just, it was very cool. It was a nice special event. I will miss him not being around and not having really the time to really to work on things together. Let's put it that way.
Well, what a great memory, though. You've got that. You flew him to Lake Tahoe. How long was he there with you?
He was there a few days, came and stayed at the house. And, I sang the last show that he ever did with him. I got up and sang with him. What's the name of the place? Mulligan's.
Oh, yeah, that place, Mulligan's on the Blue or whatever.
Exactly. Willie would play there, and it was the last show he ever did. And I got up and did Little Stormy Monday Blues.
Wow.
Which I think they have recorded somewhere.
Well, that's a really nice thing. And I know that right now you're actually holding on to a guitar. Why don't we play something and you can set it out in honor of Willie K, which would be a nice thing.
I can try and fumble through a little Freddie King.
I love it. Kind of you, Dave. Just know we appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Before we wrap it up with you, what's going to be next? Anything else you're doing?
The other thing I'm working on, I got browbeaten and badgered by everybody into writing a book. So hopefully it'll come out in 2021. Obviously called Only You Know and I Know.
What a great reference. Now we got a little tip off on that. So you're going to use that as the...
Only you know and I know, but now I know better.
But in parentheses.
Exactly. I'm 74 and I've been pretty much on the road since I was 22, 21, constantly. So for me, actually having this time off is actually not a bad thing.
Sure.
I need the 1,000,000-mile overhaul. Just, check in and just regroup here a minute. So it's kind of, But hey, you get lemons, you make lemonade, right?
That's the way to look at it, my brother. It's Dave Mason back with the reimagined Alone Together Again, and even playing live for us today on our Off the Road series. Really appreciate it, Dave. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.